Welcome to Content Chaos with George and Call, a weekly podcast diving straight into meaningful conversations about navigating modern life. Using their weekly review framework, they explore personal growth, professional insights, and cultural observations. No fluff, just authentic dialogue that transforms chaos into clarity.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to episode 42.
42. And I'm bringing our fans right into the action. You could see a giant dirt mound behind me, and the hammers are going.
Oh, the dirt mound.
The dirt mound. Can you see it?
It's so well lit that it's kind of bright, but it might render better on the actual broadcast.
Yeah. Also, you can see some birds.
Yeah.
Coming in and out. But anyway, I wanted to showcase the dirt mound.
Can hear them. They're actually working over there.
I know. See, that's a welcome change.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah. Although it does sound like one hammer being shared across.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so here we are. We are on the path to summer because it's June 8th today. And I think summer's on the 21st, but that we are racing towards the finish of the school year and the beginning of summer classes. Well, I've begun some summer classes and there will be more to do in the coming weeks. So let's start it off with what went well for you from the past week.
Well, I think in the spirit of summer or just being able to be outside a little more, I moved my ass and went for a walk yesterday, and I went far away to South Brunswick, which is about an hour drive, for a U12 soccer game, which it was just nice to be outside. And it was, a slightly overcast, which was nice because it was really hot. It was about 90 degrees, especially for the kids, the players. And so I really have to say we had two soccer games this weekend. And what I really liked about the second one, along with being outside, was the first one was against a team. Anybody who's listened to our podcast has heard us rail on about parents being over the top. Well, in this case, this team, we've played them twice consecutively. I love your term. You say that, it's like mixed martial arts combined with soccer. I mean, it is blatant, just, for context, I'm always telling our youngest, hey, when they're tough, you're just going to have to give it back a little bit. Soccer is a contact sport. It's a physical sport.
Yep.
But this is egregious. The way that our coaches put it was it's like ice hockey on grass.
Yeah.
And it was just one girl, not our daughter, got pushed down and kicked in the head, and not a penalty, not an issue. There was no pause, nothing like that. So to see that and to see the other coach condone that, and the other parents, I mean, I wouldn't want my kids or my team playing that way. So to go from that on Saturday to then on Sunday to see our opposing team, when one of our kids fell down, a player walk over, extend their hand, help them up and ask, "Are you okay?" And then to see our daughter do the same later in the game with one of their players, it just gave me some faith in humanity back. And it is what it is. It also speaks to culture. Like, that other team, that's their culture. That coach has built that, those parents built that. And it matters, like, what you bring into any environment, but especially with kids. And anyhow, it went well to see the improvement. I don't mean to make it sound like what didn't go well.
Yeah. The other thing is that that team that was, overly aggressive and roughhousing to the point of just like flagrant fouling. I mean, it was ridiculous. They're the aberration. They're not the norm.
Correct.
And I was getting all worked up too. And then, I don't want to be like those parents. So it's like, how do we conduct ourselves in a manner where our kids walk away being like, you know what? I didn't like that. And I don't want to be like that. And yeah, anyway, I'm
Yeah.
with you on all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What went well on your side?
Uh, so what went well or what is going well is something that I'm really enjoying, which is watching Dawson's Creek with Maeve, which is, well, first of all, it's surreal because she's, way younger than I was, I think, when I watched that show. I was obsessed with that show. And in fact, when I was at grad school at UNC, I went on day trips to Wilmington to like
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know. Well, I would go to the beach there because it's like only a hour drive from Chapel Hill. And I would like look around to try to find different things from Dawson's Creek. So, but the reason I'm enjoying watching it is because we watch it in a critical manner and talk about it. We talk about the characters. We talk about the representation, like you join in this too, making fun of how Dawson is probably 30 years old playing a 15-year-old or 25 or whatever. And it to me, it's like it's fun to watch with her and like talk about things, and we can have these discussions about culture and relationships in a way that, I don't know, it makes it like fun and low stakes and easy to discuss things. And
That's a
also
really good
teaches
point.
her, it also teaches her not to just take. So I as I get really irritated. Certain shows like Scrubs, like I cannot stand Scrubs and how sexist and horrible it is. And I'm always criticizing it, but she knows that, and she knows that you don't have to just accept what is put in front of you at face value. And this one, we get a different kind of, we get a different thing to critique. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, I never watched that show.
Mhm.
It just wasn't my thing or whatever I was doing in my life at the time. And so it's been interesting to watch, especially Maeve pointed out the plot line with the teacher and the student. Like,
Hot for teacher. Hot
yeah,
for teacher.
yeah. I don't think that would happen in today. Not in the setting where it's like, you're watching the student navigate through it, and like it was not condoning it, but it was
Yeah.
it was it
I
wouldn't
mean,
happen that way.
our entertainment ecosystem is so politically correct in some ways that
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a main studio show. I mean, it would be made on YouTube perhaps and whatever, but yeah, they wouldn't have that kind of theme these days.
for sure.
Okay, so that's what went well. What could have been better?
So I held on to this. I didn't go here last week because I was so triggered by the hedge warfare next door. So but it's still, it's an ongoing thing for me because it's a topic around education that through my work, I'm putting out a report in the next couple of weeks as part of this bigger series that I'm doing. And this is about sort of, you can take, sometimes you have a problem that needs to be fixed. And especially in this case, this administration and the government, when they come in and fix it and they politicize it, it's like there's a real problem that needs to be addressed. And in this case, it's looking at, the value of education, the return on the dollars invested in education, the having students on the right paths with the right skills for them or for the career that they're pursuing, and investing in that solving that. Investing in that is a very good thing. But what's happened is our Department of Education has created a full-on assault on liberal arts education, right? So they've sort of reduced it all down to needing to demonstrate outcomes that are measured by
Mhm.
cash compensation,
Right.
salary, and so forth.
Yep.
So that really narrows your scope down to what people, now the buzzword is durable skills. It's not durable skills. It's more hard skills. It's more, do you know how to code? Do you know how to build something? Are you a nurse? Are you someone who has a skill that is immediately translated, or I should say more directly translated into a paycheck, into a pay rate? Whereas somebody with a degree in, English who goes
Right.
out into the business world and maybe needs to find their way for some time, or somebody
Yeah.
who gets a liberal arts education that's going to do amazing things for them over the long
Yeah.
haul, but they're going to have more of a longer ramp up into that career, it's not going to be as obvious. And never mind, those are actually the skills in this world of AI that we're still, battling through.
Critical thinking, right?
Those are the things that are actually going to help us all be more successful if we believe the hype that they're putting out around AI to begin with. So that's the what could be going better. That part could certainly be going better. I get really, as you can sense, fired up about the assault on education right now. Now, the silver lining is those issues still do exist. Those issues are real,
Yeah,
but it's just like throwing the baby out with the bathwater is the way
exactly.
that we're going at it. But being in a place where I think what's going to happen is the pendulum swings, as we know, right? It goes far in one direction. In this case, we'll
Mhm.
say to the right. It'll come back to the left. But at the end of the day, universities being held more accountable for what's being delivered or what experiences their alumni are having once they're out in the real world, or the path that they're putting students on from day one to find their way so that when they receive their degree, it's not that they should be changing their minds about what they want to do, but they've got more of an understanding of how to apply themselves in the real world to be able to receive more benefit from what they've received. Now, that benefit isn't always in cash compensation. It can be in any way, shape, or form. But having accountability for that versus, and maybe changing the way that class sizes are, or the enrollment sizes are handled, being able to accept more students, being able to provide education at a that's more financially viable for folks to
Yes.
go to school. These would all be good things. And I think, I don't know that we'll be there on all of those fronts, but there are a lot of folks addressing this problem. Some of them are racing in to help the universities try to tick these boxes and provide some of that accountability. It's really early, but I'm finding it really interesting. Like this has become, a compliance issue that everyone now needs to address in the world of education. That's really your world. I'm more on the tech side okay, so how do you connect the workforce and connect what's happening and connect the skills journey to the external world so that universities can do a better job? Like right now, they basically partner with job boards that throw listings at students,
Mhm.
And make them fill out a survey in order to get their cap and gown. But there isn't much beyond that unless the alumni at that point take it upon themselves to report back to the universities. So anyhow, long-winded, but that could all be going much better. It's creating a lot of tension out there, as you know, in the world of education, and I think that could certainly be better.
And when you say liberal arts, are you including science?
I think it depends on what I mean. Science, I think, is also under attack, but
Majorly. Yeah.
yeah, but this is it's like if you're a student, like political science, for example, right? Our son is pursuing
Yeah.
political science. I'm not sure where that falls on the skills chart that they're going to use to say that, oh, if you deserve these grants, or the universities deserve these grants because they
Yeah.
have these programs.
So the research funding is, to say it's politicized now is like an understatement. They really are it's almost like the administration itself wants to approve each grant, which is preposterous. And yeah, I'm with you. It's the thing that's so dangerous about all of this is it's two things. Number one is, what is education for? Is it to create, productive, happy workers? Well, we know that AI, if you believe the hype of all this AI stuff, is going to create issues in the workforce. So there won't be as much demand for the worker. So it's kind of like a perverse, it's all, the logic is all twisted of it. But then the other thing is that it's promoting certain viewpoints, and you don't get scientific discoveries like, you know, vaccines and cures to cancer and things when you don't have a diversity of view sets, when it's only, the interests of the people who are already in control. So like the big companies that, kind of control everything. So
Yeah.
it's a morass. Definitely
Yeah,
could be better.
it's happening at, many different levels. What I'm talking about is just there's a bill that's being proposed or legislation that's being proposed, regulations being proposed
Mhm.
around aligning certain,
Accredit
outcomes. Yeah,
accreditation stuff,
sort
that
of
thing?
like that.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, you're talking about funding research, like
Yes.
funding that's coming in it from a different path to
Yes.
fund research. At the same time, you take it out of the universities and down into more institutions that are providing skills training and, for skilled trades and other skills, community colleges and so forth, and places like DeVry Technical Institute or places like that, where it's already happening, where they have to demonstrate the folks getting their certifications, seeing a paycheck within a certain amount of time. And there's already that's been happening for a while. So it's like happening at different levels
Yeah.
and through different channels. And there are people trying to help solve that problem too. But again, knowing that if I go to this place to get my certification as an electrician, that they have a certain track record with placement, that's not a
Yeah.
bad thing. But it's just, again, maybe I think we should be solving the core problem, which is let's create more electricians and let's improve the programs that aren't as some are productive, some not as productive. Let's let's provide guidelines and improve those. Let's not, shift money around, based on some arbitrary, measurement or stat, right? So I think that's it's happening across the board is all I'm saying.
Sorry, I'm moving.
That's all right. So what about your side? What do you think could have gone better
Uh,
or could be going
I
better?
would say one thing that definitely could be better is help with scheduling. Like, of all the things that AI could and should do better for all of us, it is help with our scheduling. So I was trying to have Gemini set up all my calendars. So I have my personal calendar, my business calendar, my Rutgers calendar, my NYU calendar. I want all these things that speak to each other and connect and make it be very, seamless. We also have, the family, the kids, their summer camps and all this stuff. And it doesn't work yet. It doesn't work yet. And I
Hmm.
find it very annoying. I think these things could be fixed, but I think they're just not prioritized because the people who kind of run, the people who are empowered to put focus on certain things, this is not one that's important to them because they are not sitting there personally trying to juggle 5 million things. It's usually people, from the bottom and women. I mean, not just women, everyone, but especially women. Why can't we figure this stuff out? Why like, why do we have to use it for such other stupid things and not make our lives easier through scheduling? Yeah, that could definitely be better.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That's an interesting take. I think a lot of the direction on the tech and a lot of the opinions coming from those in power,
Mhm.
they're just detached from
100%.
the day to day. It is
So
exactly what you're
removed.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a great piece I read recently, and now I'm completely drawing a blank, but just the perverse disconnect from quote unquote people at the top and leaders from the reality of consumers. I mean, it's why so much of what exists is solutions in search of problems. These are not real problems,
Right.
that a lot of this tech solves for. It's, I mean, just total vanity nonsense, like things that are, I guess if you are a certain very small subset of people, you think it's a big problem, but really for most people, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so what went well? What could be better? What did you learn this week?
I'll be quick on this one. I went long on the others. So two things. One, it's just funny timing on things. I saw this article about whispering is like the new sound of typing. And so it's getting at how voice is taking over. And so you go into an office and it's people, because you can't be loud in your cubes. So people are whispering into their microphones while the computer's typing. And I thought, oh, is that really happening? And then I went to the soccer game on Sunday, and I'm not going to call out, there's nothing wrong with any of this, but I'm not going to drop any names. But there's a parent sitting next to me, and through the whole thing, she's whispering into her phone and, scheduling appointments and responding to texts and I don't know what she's doing, but I wasn't listening, but I could hear
That's
the
so funny.
whispering. And I was like, what's happening? Oh, she's whispering at her phone. So that was just it. I read about it and then I watched it in real life. The other thing was it was just good to, I did a drop-in tennis clinic with a different coach last week. And it's like, it just reminded me because he's very instructive and he gave me a couple, with this particular coach, Chris, I always learn something when I'm with him. And it's just a nice feeling when it's like something that you're doing and you go and it clicks and you learn something new. It's nice at being older and still having that experience. So that was neat to have
Cool.
that. How about you? What did you
Cool.
learn?
Man, I'm learning so much for my the class I'm taking at Rutgers. It's social context of education, and I'm just reading a lot of theory and I can see why these attacks on higher ed, people don't want other people to be able to interrogate
Yeah.
and say, why is that? And, it's been interesting to read, like I've been reading these essays about critical race theory, which as we know, is just like a hot topic. It's a big, avenue for conservatives to attack higher ed. And it's fascinating to read the actual original texts and to see how they're constructed and why they're constructed and know how the authors kind of walk through the world and how things have changed in the past 20 years. Yeah, it kind of goes in line with what a lot of like propaganda that I learned these lessons as a kid studying, World War II, and now kind of seeing it going on. It's fascinating. I feel lucky that I get to revisit a lot of this stuff now that I have more life experience. And, because when you have gone through many cycles of life and seen many different things, you kind of, you're able to hold multiple realities and realize, okay, maybe it's not all this, maybe it's not all that. And then the other thing that I've been learning about is I've been really expanding my knowledge of Eastern religions. I think, as you know, I'm like really, I've a very dedicated yogini. I've been a yoga person for a very long time. And through that, I've been exposed to different religions and philosophies. And so then I did that study on Bhutan and really was learning more about Buddhism. And yeah, I just continued to learn about Buddhism compared to Taoism, compared to Zen. And one of the things that's really neat is that with learning, it's you learn by returning to it. It's not like you learn it all in once. Like this is my philosophy, is the best learning is just you keep coming back to it and you see new angles and you can open your mind in different ways, which to me is very exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we did it.
We did. The construction continues. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks,
All right.
honey.
Take care. Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.